I multiply my numerators, I get -1 times cosine is negative cosine, and then sine times sine is sine squared. Do we agree that they're the same? I'm not changing it at all, okay? So then this is equal to, what's the flip of the sine? How do I remember that it's the cosecant? It's not what it should be. This is negative cosecant of x. What's cosine divided by sine? What is it? It's the cotangent. If the tangent is sine over cosine, the cotangent is the flip of the tangent. Or that would be cosine over sine. So this becomes cotangent of x. So the derivative of cosecant is negative cosecant cotangent. And you can go through the same type of proof for the secant. And you'll get secant tangent. And it's in your notes. Again, moving forward, I expect you to know is these. These 6. These are all the trig functions. That's all I can throw at you. We're almost all the way through knowing every single rule to derive any type of function. The only things we have left is chain rule and the inverse trig function. And those inverse trigs come up very little, where these come up a whole bunch. But if you memorize these 6, that's really all we can throw at you in terms of taking the derivative of a trig function. Okay? So, and you see how these are grouped together. The sine is the cosine. Derivative of sine is cosine. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. Derivative of tangent is secant squared. The derivative of cotangent is negative cosecant squared. Secant's derivative is secant tangent. The derivative of the cosecant is negative cosecant cotangent. Do you see how these 3 pair up? Again, it's easier to memorize 3 things than 6. What I do is I pair them up. This is like the good one in the relationship, so that one's got the negative. The derivative of the cosine has the negative on it. Tan and cotangent, this is the good one in the relationship, so that one's got the negative on it. Do you understand what the good one? I don't know, that's what I say. The secant and cosecant, this is the good one, so this one's got the negative on it. It's just how I remember. Either if you have a photographic memory, just memorize this space right here. If you need some sort of pattern, this is how I remember it. I group things together. Or if you just need to do it 100 times, then do it 100 times. Whatever way you need to memorize these things, just like you need to memorize power rule, you need to memorize quotient rule, and you need to memorize product rule. You need to have it down, otherwise you can't move forward. Okay? You need to. That's the big part of memorization in calculus. You need to memorize these rules. So what's the derivative of sine?
Cosine.
Everyone. What's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sine.
What's the derivative of tangent?
Secant squared.
What's the derivative of cotangent?
Negative cosecant squared.
What's the derivative of secant?
Secant tangent.
Secant tangent. What's the derivative of cosecant?
Negative cosecant.
Very good. What's the derivative of sine?
Cosine.
What's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sine.
What's the derivative of tangent?
Secant squared.
What's the derivative of cotangent?
Negative cosecant squared.
What's the derivative of secant?
Secant tangent.
What's the derivative of cosecant?
Negative cosecant tangent.
Very good. Everyone, with confidence. If you're getting better at it, don't look at the board. Or like have it in your peripheral, like, oh, I'm not sure. If you're really good at it, as we're doing it, close your eyes. And see if you can picture it. The sooner you can do that, the sooner you have it. You know what I'm saying? We're going to do it a couple times, but as soon as you can close your eyes, try it. And again, just say it. The sooner your brain is confident in saying you're good. Again, picture a happy place. Picture the place you feel most comfortable in, that you're most relaxing. I picture room 506. You may picture a beach or grandma's house making banana nut bread. I picture room 506. In calculus class. So relaxing. So relaxing. What's the derivative of sine?
Cosine.
What's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sine.
What's the derivative of tangent?
Secant squared.
What's the derivative of cotangent?
Negative cosecant squared.
What's the derivative of secant?
Secant tangent.
What's the derivative of cosecant?
Negative cosecant cotangent.
What's the derivative of sine?
Cosine.
What's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sine.
What's the derivative of tangent?
Secant squared.
What's the derivative of cotangent?
Negative cosecant squared.
What's the derivative of secant?
Secant tangent.
What's the derivative of cosecant?
Negative cosecant cotangent.
What's the derivative of sine? What's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sine.
What's the derivative of tangent?
Secant squared.
What's the derivative of cotangent?
Cosecant squared.
What's the derivative of secant?
Secant tangent.
What's the derivative of cosecant?
Negative cosecant cotangent.
Everyone with their eyes closed, as loud as you can. Last one. You guys ready?
Yes.
With confidence. Again, the sooner you memorize this, the sooner you don't have to worry about it. Does that make sense, Anna? You can worry about other things. It's just like, oh yeah, do you understand? You got it. Yeah. Okay, fine. I just need, what am I talking about here? As soon as you get that done, make your flashcards. When you're on the bus, go over these things. Go over specific examples of power rule. Go over examples of product rule. Go over examples of quotient rule. Go over the definition of continuity. Go over the definition of differentiable at a point. And the more you go over these things, the more you're comfortable with these terms, just the better you'll be. And those are perfect times for you guys to do it. You have time on the bus, or the train. You're listening to your iPod. Keep on doing that. No one's going to be like, no one's going to recognize you. Some 7-year-old man's going to be like, Joanna, nerd alert, you got to get to the flashcards, nerd alert! Ding, ding, ding. They're not going to do that. No one's going to care. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is going to care. Just take it out. Take out your flashcards. Go through them. Again, this will help with this, physics, all that stuff grouped together. If you're getting in any of that field, the sooner you get this stuff down, just the easier your life will be. If you keep on waiting, you'll be like, I don't make flashcards. Don't you know I keep my collar popped? I'm cool, Mr. Remus. I pop my collar. I don't use flashcards. I pop it. See what I'm saying? As soon as you get over that, and you just embrace who you are, which is a nerd, then you'll be fine. Okay? Embrace it. Okay, everyone, you ready? Is everyone in their place? Picture it. Everyone, close your eyes. Is everyone in 506? 506. Everyone, picture your happy place. Your happy place. What is, as loud as you can, it's just like you own it. Even if you're wrong, just like own something.
Okay, do it.
Alright, that's what I like. What's the derivative of sine? Here we go. That's it, you own it. What's the derivative of cosine?
Negative sine.
Yes! I like it. We're getting possessed by the calculus demons. And they're taking over our souls. Finally, it's finally changing. You're changing. You're being possessed. What's the derivative of the tangent?
Secant squared.
What's the derivative of the cotangent?
Negative secant squared.
What's the derivative of the secant?
Secant tangent.
What is... You sound like Fred from Seinfeld. I don't know if you guys even know this show. What is the derivative? So we said secant is what?
Secant tangent.
What's the derivative of cosecant?
Negative cosecant cotangent.
Great. Now, open your eyes. Flip a page. I want you to ask the other 2 or 3 members of the group for the derivative of any one of these. Now let's go out of order. And I want each person to write it down. And then after each person writes down, what did you write? Don't look at anything else. You just write what the derivative is. Okay? One person call it out, ask the other 3 or 2, and then everyone look. And then go to the next person. That next person asks the 3 people. And choose any of these. Go in any order you want. Does that make sense, you guys? Take a couple minutes to do this. Let's start now.
So basically,